Hi. Now in today's lecture we will look into lab preparation of haloalkanes from hydrocarbons and from alcohols, right? So from hydrocarbons, we know hydrocarbons are alkanes or alkenes, right? We'll look into preparation of alkyl halides from alkenes and alkanes, right? So first, hydrocarbons, right? We know hydrocarbons are compounds that contain single bond, double bond or triple bond, right? So first method that we will see is halogenation, right? Halogenation of hydrocarbons. Halogenation of hydrocarbons, we have studied this before also, proceeds via free radical mechanism, right? We would be looking into mechanism of these reactions also while studying the reactions, right? So your halogenation occurs via free radical mechanism, and we know that in free radical mechanism your reaction intermediates are free radicals, right, which are highly reactive, right? You have reaction intermediates here are free radicals. Let's look into the reactions now. We'll first look into reaction of lower alkane like methane, right, with your chlorine, right, to form methyl chloride. Let's see how this reaction proceeds, right? Lower alkane reacts with lower alkane, which is methane, reacts with chlorine in the presence of diffused sunlight, right? Remember, in the presence of diffused sunlight or at temperature of around 520 to 670 Kelvin, right? Either you have diffused sunlight or temperature of around 520 to 670 kelvins, right? The important thing about this reaction is that this reaction doesn't stop at monosubstitute stage, right? It will undergo further substitution to form polysubstituted haloalkanes. Polysubstituted haloalkanes are those haloalkanes where more than one hydrogen atom is replaced by your halogen atom. Here halogen atom is chlorine, right? So monosubstituted means alkyl halide where one atom of hydrogen in methane is replaced by one atom of chlorine, right? So when one hydrogen atom is replaced by one chlorine atom, it will form methyl chloride, right? This is your mono-substituted product. Mono means one, right? Mono-substituted. So one hydrogen atom is substituted by chlorine atom, right? So you can see now we have chlorine atom here. Now since we said that this reaction doesn't stop at mono-substituted stage, it will undergo further substitution, right, to form polysubstituted products, right? So polysubstituted, now more than one, that means two hydrogen atoms can also be replaced by two chlorine atoms, right? Three hydrogen atoms can also be replaced, or all four hydrogen atoms can also be replaced, right? So these are polysubstituted products, right? Now there is a way you can stop this reaction at this stage, at monosubstituted stage. How? By controlling the ratio of methane and chlorine. If you take the ratio of methane and chlorine in such a way that the reaction stops at only monosubstituted stage, right? It is possible. And other important thing about this reaction that you need to know is that this reaction is not of lab importance, right? This is of industrial importance. Why this is not of lab importance? Because it's a mixture of substituted alkyl halides, right? And all these needs to be separated, right? And these can be separated based on their different boiling points, right? And it would be difficult in lab to separate these. Sorry, it's of no lab importance, right? And this is of industrial importance, important. This is of industrial importance, because if you do this reaction, right, in chemical factory or in industry, they are using fractional distillation. You can separate all these different substituted or different polysubstituted alkyl halides, right? In industrial preparation, using fractional distillation, separation can be achieved. Separation of alkyl halides, right, can be achieved, right? Now this was your lower alkane, right, and your lower alkane resulted into the formation of polysubstituted alkyl halides. Now let's see if we take higher alkane, say propane, right? Propane will react differently with your halogens, right? Chlorination, bromination mainly gives this type of reaction. Now if we take CH3, CH2, CH3, this is your propane molecule. It reacts with chlorine in the presence of diffused sunlight, right? Now here, since this reaction, if you just recall this reaction, here what is happening is hydrogen atoms are getting replaced by chlorine atom. Here you have only one type of hydrogen atom, that is hydrogen atom connected to this carbon atom, right, like this. This is your methane molecule. But so here you have only one type of hydrogen atom, right? Now any of these hydrogen atom will be replaced by chlorine atom. It will form these normal alkanes, right? Normal alkyl halides. Now if you have a higher alkane, example propane, this hydrogen atom can also be replaced, right? That is hydrogen atom connected to this carbon atom. This can also be replaced, this can also be replaced, right? So different products can be formed with higher alkanes, or what we say is we get isomeric products, mixture of isomeric products in case of higher alkanes, right? And which isomeric product would be in more quantity, that would depend on its stability. The one which is more stable would be in more quantity, right? So let's see, if this hydrogen atom will replace this one, middle one, then it will form CH3, right, like this. Let's write it like this, CBr, sorry, not Br, we are using chlorine, Cl, CH3, right? And if you remember, we have discussed this before also, carbon atom which is connected to no other or one carbon atom is your 1 degree or primary carbon atom. The one which is connected to 2 carbon atom, then this carbon atom would be 2 degree. If carbon atom is connected to 4 other carbon atoms, right, then this is a 3 degree carbon atom, right? So here this carbon atom, right, which is connected to 2 other carbon atom, this is a 2 degree carbon atom, right? Whereas this carbon atom is a 1 degree carbon atom, because this carbon is connected to only one carbon atom directly. Similarly, this carbon atom is directly connected to only one carbon atom, which is this one, right? But this carbon atom is connected to 2 other carbon atoms. So this is your 2 degree carbon atom, right? So here this is your 2 degree carbon atom. This product will result by the replacement of 2 degree hydrogen atoms from your propane molecule, right? Now if 1 degree hydrogen atom is this and this. 1 degree hydrogen atom are those hydrogen atoms that are connected to 1 degree carbon atom, right? So it will result into the formation of propyl chloride, right? This is your N-propyl chloride, right? This is your normal propyl chloride or 1-chloropropane, right? And the second one is your 2 chloropropane. Let's call it 1 chloropropane. This is your 1 chloropropane, right? And this is your 2 chloropropane. And how will you name it? Since this is 1, 2, 3, right? So here this chlorine is connected to second carbon atom, so 2 chloro, right? Propane, 1, 2, 3 propane, right? Now which one would be in more quantity, right? This would be in more quantity. This is 55%, this is 45%, right? What is the reason? Now we need to know one important thing, the ease of hydrogen atom replacement. This means out of these 3 types of hydrogen atoms which are connected to 3 different carbon atoms, which hydrogen atoms would be easily replaced, right? So carbon atoms that are connected to 3 degree carbon atoms, right, can be easily replaced, right? I'm sorry, this is 3 degree connected to 3 other carbon atoms, not 4. Here 2 degree carbon atoms are connected to 2 carbon atoms directly, right? And this is 1 degree carbon atom, right? So ease of replacement is your 3 degree hydrogen atoms can be easily replaced, right? Followed by 2 degree carbon atoms, followed by 1 degree carbon atom, right? So if in such a molecule, like we have noticed earlier that we have 2 degree hydrogen atoms and 1 degree hydrogen atoms, right? So in such a molecule, 2 degree hydrogen atoms, if you look at this order, right, 3 degree hydrogen atoms can be easily replaced, then 2 degree, then comes 1 degree. So here you have these 2 degree hydrogen atoms, right? So these hydrogen atoms can be easily replaced, right? Since these hydrogen atoms can be easily replaced, right, compared to these hydrogen atoms, so compound that will be formed by replacement of 2 degree hydrogen atoms would be in more quantity. For example, this 2 chloropropane is resulted by the replacement of 2 degree hydrogen atoms from your propane molecule. So this would be more stable in more quantity compared to 1 chloropropane, right? I hope this is clear. Just should know the ease of replacement, right? This is important for chlorination or bromination, right? Now we'll look at iodination, that is reaction with iodine, right? This is also one of the halogen, right? So methane reacts with iodine when heated to form methyl iodide plus hydrogen iodide. This reaction is reversible, right? Remember, this reaction is reversible, and this is the challenge. This is reversible and this is the challenge, right? Challenge, or this is the problem of this reaction, that this is reversible reaction. Reversible reaction is that reaction where these where these products will react back to give you these reactants, right? So products are forming, at the same time these products are reacting to form reactants, right? So this can be prevented by carrying out this reaction in the presence of iodic acid, HiO3, right? Now why this reaction is reversible? This reaction is reversible because hydrogen iodide, right, your hydrogen iodide formed in the reaction, right, this is a strong reducing agent. This hydrogen iodide is a strong reducing agent which will react with methyl iodide to give you methane and iodine. If you carry out this reaction in the presence of iodic acid will react with hydrogen iodide to give you water plus iodine gas, right? So in this way this product hydrogen iodide is removed, right? Now reaction was reversible because of hydrogen iodide, right? Now in the presence of iodic acid, this hydrogen iodide is removed. So now there is no hydrogen iodide to react with methyl iodide to give you back reactants, right? So reversibility of this reaction can be prevented by carrying out this reaction with iodic acid. Iodic acid is a strong oxidizing agent. It will oxidize iodic acid to give you water and iodine, right? This is important. Important thing to know here is that the reaction is reversible, right? And how can you prevent, and why this is reversible? Because hydrogen iodide is a strong reducing agent. It will reduce methyl iodide to form methane and iodine, and this reversibility can be prevented by carrying out this reaction in the presence of iodic acid. Iodic acid is a strong oxidizing agent. It will oxidize hydrogen iodide to give you water and iodine, right? So no hydrogen iodide, or if we remove hydrogen iodide as the reaction proceeds with the help of iodic acid, the reaction will no longer be reversible, right? I hope this is clear. Now we will look into your fluorination. Fluorination is reaction of, say, CH3 CH2 with fluorine, right? This reaction is very explosive reaction, right? Direct fluorination of alkanes is not possible because reaction is highly exothermic, right? Now there are reasons, right? There are reasons for this reaction to be highly exothermic, right? The reason is that bond dissociation, this reaction is highly exothermic, right? So direct direct fluorination of alkanes is not possible, right? The reason is, first is low bond dissociation energy, low bond dissociation energy of fluorine molecule. It is around 158 kilojoules per mole, right? And the second is, like I said earlier, that this reaction proceeds via free radical mechanism, right? This reaction proceeds via free radical mechanism, right? So in free radical mechanism, one of the step, right, is highly exothermic, right? And the step which is highly exothermic is the reaction of your methyl free radical and fluorine free radical, right? Methyl free radical, right, plus fluorine free radical. This is highly exothermic, and it will produce heat of around 448 kilojoules per mole, right? This is the amount of heat that it will produce, and this amount of heat, what it will do is, this heat is enough to break this molecule, right? This molecule, to break the carbon-carbon bond in this molecule, right? If you look at this molecule is like this, CH3 CH2, right? This is your ethane molecule. Now heat produced, right, by reaction of these two free radicals, this alkyl free radical, right? This, in this case, it would be ethyl, right, CH3CH, and fluorine radical that would be generated by the cleavage of this fluorine molecule. When these two react, this reaction is highly exothermic, right, and produces a heat of around 448 kilojoules. This heat produced will cleave this carbon-carbon bond, right? It will cleave or break this alkane molecule. So this reaction is not possible, right? And the other reason is that bond dissociation energy of fluorine is very low, 158 kilojoules per mole, like I said earlier, right? So these are the two reasons, bond dissociation energy and your exothermic nature of this step, where these free radicals react, right, to give you large amount of heat, 448 kilojoules, and this heat will cleave this molecule, right, carbon-carbon bond. So direct fluorination is not possible, right? So on the other hand, what we do is, to obtain fluoroalkanes, we use generally alkyl fluorides, right, are prepared by indirect methods, right? So indirect method would be like, we use fluorides like CH3, CH2Cl. You can use mercuric fluoride, right, and it will form CH3CH2F. Right, this is the indirect method. Right, this is the indirect method to form your ethyl fluoride. Right, you heat it plus HgF. This is your indirect method. Right, wherein this fluorine will replace one chlorine atom to form this molecule, right, and it will go here, and it would be Hg2Cl2. This is the reaction, and this is your indirect method, right? This is your indirect method. And why do we use indirect method? Because indirect method we use because direct fluorination of alkanes is not possible because of these two reasons: low bond dissociation energy and your exothermic, the high heat that is evolved in this step of this reaction, right? I hope this is clear. Right, so these are some important things. Here polysubstituted product is obtained, here isomeric products are obtained. In this case your reversibility is important, and here you need to understand why direct fluorination is not possible. Right, I hope this is clear. Now we will look into the other way. Right, we'll look into, and remember this also, the ease of hydrogen atom replacement in case of higher alkanes. Now we'll look into the preparation from your alcohols. Right, we are done with preparation from alkanes. Now we will look into preparation from alcohols. Right, generally what we do is, if you want to prepare alkyl halides, right, from alcohols, what we do is we treat alcohols, right, with halogen acids. Right, alcohols are treated with halogen acids, and halogen acids will react with, okay, before going ahead we need to look into other hydrocarbon, which is, before doing alcohols we'll look into alkenes first. Right, one hydrocarbon that we have done, these are alkanes. Right, now what about alkenes? Alkenes undergo addition reaction with halogen acids to form haloalkanes. Right, alkenes. With alkenes, suppose this is your alkene, this is your symmetrical alkene, right? It will react with halogen acid HBr, right? This halogen acid will add across the double bond, right, to form CH3 CHBr, right? It will form a saturated compound, alkyl halide, right? And this reaction proceeds via addition. This is an addition reaction. Addition reaction wherein this halogen acid molecule would be added across this double bond. Right? Now here we need to understand one very important thing. Right? Let's say if you want to prepare iodic methyl or ethyl iodide, you treat it with hydrogen iodide. This is a halogen acid again. It will form CH3 CH2Br, right? So here also this hydrogen iodide is added across this double bond, right? I hope this is clear. Now this is, like I said, these are your symmetrical alkenes. Now if I take unsymmetrical alkene, for example CH3 CH double bond CH2, right? This is your propene molecule, right? In case of propene molecule, the addition of halogen acid, right, addition of halogen acid to your alkene follows Markovnikov's rule, right? It will follow here, addition of halogen acid to an unsymmetrical alkene. This is your most important thing, is unsymmetrical alkene. Unsymmetrical is, here you have hydrogen atoms across the double bond, here you have methyl. So this is not symmetrical, this is unsymmetrical, right? So HBr will react right? And the reaction will go as per the famous Markovnikov's rule, the rule this we have studied before also, right? So this reaction will proceed as per Markovnikov's rule, right? And as per your Markovnikov's rule, as per which positive part, right, or negative part, which is Br, will attach itself to the carbon atom that contains less number of hydrogen atoms, right? Whereas positive part would be added to that carbon atom of the double bond that has more number of hydrogen atoms, right? So as per Markovnikov's rule, the negative part of halogen acid, negative part would be your Br here. Here in HBr, in negative part is your Br, right? It will go to carbon atom that has less hydrogen atoms, right? And your positive part of halogen acid, which is hydrogen atom, would go to carbon atom that has more hydrogen atoms, right? So as per this rule, Markovnikov's rule, what will happen is, what would be the product? CH3. Now Br, negative part, will go to carbon atom that has less hydrogen atom. In this molecule, this carbon across the double bond, will be looking across the double bond, right? At the doubly bonded carbon atoms, right? This carbon atom has less number of hydrogen atoms, right? So your Br would be attached to this carbon atom, right? Then you have your hydrogen atom. It will go to hydrogen atom, positive part will go to carbon atom that has more number of hydrogen atoms. That means this, right? This is your product as per Markovnikov's rule, right? And this is your Markovnikov's rule, right? I hope this is clear. Now if I do the same reaction, right, if I do the same reaction in presence of benzoyl peroxide, right, or any peroxide, mainly we take benzoyl peroxide, reverse of this happens, that is, in presence of benzoyl peroxide, C6H5O, C6H5, right? So let's see what is the product in case of, like I said, it would be the reverse, that is, your Br in this case will go to the carbon atom that has more number of hydrogen atoms, right? The one that has more number of hydrogen atoms. I'm sorry, I forget to mention, right? It is this. You have carbon, doubly bonded carbonyl group, right? So in presence of, let me write it like this, benzoyl peroxide, in presence of benzoyl peroxide, reverse of Markovnikov rule happens, right? Reverse of Markovnikov's rule happens, and as per which your negative part would be Br, right, will go to carbon atom having more hydrogen atoms, right? And your positive hydrogen will go to carbon atom that has less hydrogen atoms. So product would be different from this product, right? And this rule is known as your peroxide effect, because this occurs in presence of benzoyl peroxide, right? So this would be your peroxide effect, or we call it, since this is opposite of Markovnikov's rule, so we will call it as anti-Markovnikov rule. Anti-Markovnikov rule, right? So product would be your hydrogen will come to this now, right, to this carbon atom, right, and your Br